All right, gang, this is Hexy. Hey, let's unbox something here. So I picked up 4 games from Taktyka Strategia in Poland, and I know I talked about these on a stream one night, but I had saw this website a while back and I didn't save it, and then somebody popped it up on Facebook again. I made sure I grabbed it this time because I wanted to get some games from there, and I bought 4 games from them. We'll unbox this first one tonight. But these games, I paid $24 for these games, and all 4 of them got shipped to me for like 30. I think it was $31 or $33. Okay, so I thought we would do a little unboxing. I've had it for a couple weeks now. So the first one here, Korsun 44, and I will flip the boxes are gorgeous. Now here's the first thing about these boxes that are different to me. It's got the magnetic flip. All right, which is pretty cool. They look nice when you stand them up. Everything aligns, so the boxes all look good side by side. I know y'all can't see that. You can see that like that. But everything's written in Polish. You can see on the back there, it's all in Polish. Now, they were kind enough, and I'm going to have to do some downloading of the battle book type rules, but they sent me an English copy of the rules, Second World War system. This is their WB95 series, okay? And these games are made, they come out of Warsaw, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, I saw these, God, it had to be almost 2 years ago. I think it was the OG told me about these. And like I said, I'd forgotten the website. So I found it again. I immediately bought some stuff from them. All right, well, let's pop the lid on this thing. I have the website up in front of me on my screen here so that I can read in English the translation. So Korsun 44, I know that light's going to be painful, but we can survive, I think. The box is real shiny. And it's a fairly sturdy box. It doesn't look like it's real fancy, but it's actually pretty sturdy. All right, so Korsun 44 description. It's known as the Second Stalingrad. The Battle of Korsun was the result of Hitler's order to defend every inch of the captured land. In the pocket around Korsun, Soviets managed to surround the big number of the German units. However, this time Germans quickly gathered all the reserves and performed an attack to let the surrounded units retreat. The Luftwaffe played an important role supporting surrounded units. German losses were still very high, and they turned out to be crucial in the next battles of 1944. In this game, both players have to use their forces very reasonably and think about both attack and defense. Is it possible for the Germans to evacuate their units from the Korsun pocket without any major losses? Or maybe the Soviets can destroy most of them before. All right, so let's take a look inside this thing and see what we got. All right. Nice semi-gloss rule book here. All right. Set that aside. We'll come back to that here in just a second. Semi-gloss map. There are 2 of them. All right. Graphics are a little different, but we'll look at that here in a second. We'll pull one of them out. All right. Then you got this sticky counter sheet, which thankfully Hexy has learned how to mount this stuff here recently. All right. These are informational. All right. And then there's another one that's informational. Okay. I got some counters that have fallen out here. Now, not all the counter sheets in these games are the same. And when I open up some other ones, you'll see what I mean. All right, so these counters are really thin on these sheets here. Let me pull this up. So yes, they're kind of flimsy, but you know what? If the game's fun, this will be tolerable. All right. There are, as you can see, not very thick. This might not even be as thick as a back of a legal pad, but the counters are nice looking as far they're shiny as can be. The grays are changing a little different. Black, I'm going to have to assume this is probably SS stuff up here. Looks like you got some leader counters, grunts, artillery. Ooh, got some Nabels, ground mounted. Tanks. These are all Stugs, it looks like up here. More Stugs, and then I'm sure there's other stuff here. I'm not sure. I have to look at these closer to see what they are. Those are Panthers, no doubt about that. Looks like we got some PZ4s down here. More artillery, more rocket launchers, more troops. And a lot of the stuff, Sturmova, which those look like Stukas to me, so I'm sure that's your close air support. And like real shiny. So this is sheet 1. And then the back, it looks like the back is a reduced strength side of these. Yeah, these, I don't think I have any games that have counters that are this slick. And so are the miscellaneous. You know, you would not necessarily, I guess, they're a little thinner. You probably wouldn't have to paste those to anything if you didn't want to. Matter of fact, it might make them, I use 2mm chipboard, it might make them a little thick. See, and then looks like we got a Russian sheet here. Some of these counters have already fallen off. I'm going to leave them in the box. But looks like the same thing, T-34s there. Let's go to the front. All right, T-34s, the Sturmova, whatever that is. And I'm sure this is Polish, and I'm going to butcher it, I'm sure. Artillery, what's leaders or heroes, I don't know. Looks like leaders to me. ISUs, T-34s. I'm sure these are Katyushas on trucks. All right, more infantry, artillery, and of course the Russians are going to have a lot of artillery. Awful lot of T-34 counters here, and a couple ISU counters. Oh, you've got some, looks like some Cossacks, maybe some Guards cavalry units here. All right, so 2 counter sheets, a couple of green dice. All right, get them out of the way. All right, shiny counter sheets, like I said, but I think they'll be manageable. I don't know how they'll do when you're stacking, but we'll find out. All right, 2 information sheets. I'm sure these are probably going to be strength or step loss markers. That looks like some kind of a breakthrough thing with arrows going through a line. Bridges, destroyed bridge is what it looks like. Like I said, all this stuff is in Polish, but I'll get a translation, which I'm sure you can probably download it. Maybe, okay, so that's a disorganized. I don't know if that's a victory location marker. The star, yeah, those are probably victory location markers. German, disorganized or disrupted. Don't know what these are. I have to find out when I get into the rules. All right, let's take a quick look through the rules. Get the box out of the way here for a second. And let's not close it. Let's just get it out of the way. All right, let's pop the rule book open here and see what we got. All right, not very thick. All right. Looks like it goes back to, no page numbers, 19 pages. 19 pages in the book. 18 looks like a deployment. 19. All right, so the last, let's say 20 pages and the last Korsun and the last. All right, so from page 12 to the back of the book is all charts, deployment scenarios, and whatnot. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get these translated. So shiny cover, regular matte paper or flat paper on the inside. Again, everything here. Now, so the rules to play the game and the scenarios are inside the same book, okay? So I have the English version of the rules sitting up there. So it's going to cover all these sections back. It's kind of cool, though, to look at a game made in a different country. And then when you look at it, if you weren't looking at the words, you're like, oh, wow, this is laid out just like SPI would have done it years ago. 3-column. The print's not too super tiny, and they use the numbering system there to find rules. All right, so, and they do have small pictures here to show stuff, and then charts. And like I said, I'll use the translated version. So 10 pages, 11. Wait a minute. Yep, 10 pages, 11, black and white, no color stuff in here. And then on page 12, you start with charts and stuff like that, which looks like that's a terrain chart. This is going to be interesting because all 4 of the games I got are like this. All right. And then your scenarios with the deployments look like they're easy enough to look at. The unit designation and then the hexes they're in. And this is a hex and counter game. Okrozeni, Korsun, Deblokada, don't know, I have no idea. And we got a CRT. Don't know if this is modifiers. Disorganization table. Huh. And then not sure what this is on the back unless this is a reinforcement schedule. All right, so what, 11 pages of rules at the most, and then some of their other games they have. And they have quite a few games in this system, and it's all World War II. Let's peek at one of the maps here. All right. So the maps are very, very slick. I'll be playing under plexiglass anyhow. They look like they're just smaller than standard poster size of 22 by 34, although they could be 22 by 34. If I can get this open. Yeah, they're about the same. All right. I don't know. Let me see what the year on this one was. The year for this game was... This does not say. Let's look at the rule book. What was the year on this game? Because I'm wondering because, and also not all the maps look like this. I know this one's probably a little rough on the eyeballs right now. This one was done in, and I still don't see it. So I don't know when this game was made. At least it's not inside the cover here. I'll have to do some digging to find out. Yeah, I don't see a year in here of when this was produced. It's not in the credits of the game. All right, well, I'll come back to that later and find out when. All right, so shiny map. Not quite as shiny as the counters are. I'm sure it's functional. And we all recognize, if I recall, here's the Dnieper up here. All right. And the Germans are all going to be trapped in here. All the towns are written in Polish. Can we pick one out that we recognize right off the top of our heads? I'm sure this here along the river and this Spoda down here, I'd have to get translations so I would know what they are. But I know that the Russians were pretty much had all of this covered, and we're trying to choke off the Germans down here. It's like we got a combat results table up here. I'm not sure what kind of track that is, unless that is a day track. Yeah, so it has the months written on it. So, okay, so it must start on January 24th and run through February 10th. Terrain key. Let's see what the other one looks like here before we go down this road. Take a look. Yeah, not the most. I mean, a lot of color, a lot of blurry imagery in the map. So, all right, I haven't played yet, and I don't want to judge it, but I can say that I don't. First look, I don't care for the map. You know what though? There's Korsun. Once you start playing, a lot of this stuff will go away. You don't even think about it. So, and I'm sure that by using the terrain chart and the terrain key, it doesn't look like these items are flowing out of the hexes where you have to guess. It looks like they're all covered within the hex boundary, so that might make it easier. Looks like we had a big version of the Dnieper, and it looks like we got these smaller ones, and then like these maybe streams or even smaller rivers. I don't know if this is forest and if this is rough terrain here. Not sure what the blue will be, but we'll find out. Maybe it's flooded, who knows. Cities and towns are pretty easy to determine. I'm sure that the black and white here is going to be rail lines. I didn't look at the key close enough. Let's see, rail lines. Oh, it doesn't have it on the train key, but I'd be willing to bet you that's what it is. All right, so $23.99 I think it was for these games. And let me tell you, like I say, all the rest of them, they're not identical. So we'll see here shortly what some of those look like. But this one here, this is Korsun 44. All right, I'm not going to go over how to play it because I got to learn how to play it. But this is Korsun 44 from, I'm going to say Tactical Strategy, all right, but it's Taktyka, Strategia. And like I said, it's a company out of Poland. Lovely picture, Messerschmitt, Panther, which looks like one of the little tiny Panthers I painted at 15 millimeter. And I'll find out the date on this. So if anybody out there, and I know there's a few out there that have some of these, if you played some of these or played this system, give me a comment here. Let me know what you think of the system down in the comment section. You know the deal. Hit the old likey button on the video. It does help the channel out a little bit. And if you're not subscribed, hey, subscribe. If you know somebody that wants to see some of the stuff, send them over to the channel. All right, this Hex Text, man. We're going to get out of here, and we'll get on to the next ones here shortly. Talk to you soon.